For years, I believed the thing everyone believes about orange cats, that they are all a bit daft and a bit friendly and a bit chaotic. Then I met an orange cat who wanted nothing to do with anybody, and I remember feeling slightly offended, as though he had broken a rule. He had not broken anything. I had just been reading him off a chart. Your cat's color is the only thing about her you can read from the other side of the room. It is there before she has done a single thing, so your brain uses it as a shortcut. Here is what is actually true. Color does explain something real about your cat. It just does not explain the part everybody thinks it does. By the end of this, you will know the 4 things that actually built your cat's personality, and only one has anything to do with how she looks. No fear, no scare tactics, just what your cat is actually telling you. And the 4th is for anybody who has ever been told their cat is aloof or unreadable. That gets said about some cats far more than others, and it has nothing to do with their character. Stay for that one. Thing 1. The 7 weeks you were not there for, the single biggest thing that decided how your cat feels about people happened before you ever saw her. Eileen Karsh spent years at Temple University studying kittens and found one of the most useful things a cat owner can know. There is a window early in a kitten's life, roughly from 2 weeks old to 7 weeks, when her brain decides what humans are. Gentle handling in that window, and people become normal, safe, ordinary. Very little handling in that window, and people stay slightly foreign for the rest of her life. Here is the part that stops most owners in their tracks. That window closes at about 7 weeks. Most of us do not bring a kitten home until 8 weeks or later. So, the most important decision about your cat's relationship with humans was made before you were in the room, by somebody you have never met. You can see the result in the first 3 seconds of a stranger meeting her. A cat handled early leans toward an offered hand. A cat who missed it leans away first and decides afterwards. Neither one is a better cat, and neither one is your doing. And if she leans away, that is not a life sentence. It just means the work is slower. Thing 2, the father she has never met. This is the one I did not believe until I went looking properly. I wanted to know whether anything about a cat's friendliness is settled before birth, and Sandra McCune had already asked exactly that question. Her work found that kittens whose fathers were friendly toward people grew up friendlier toward people themselves. Now, hold that next to how cats live. Tomcats have nothing to do with raising kittens. He is not there. He does not feed them, teach them, or show them anything. And it still shows up in the kittens. Whatever it is he passes it on without ever being present, which means your cat may be carrying a temperament from an animal she has never laid eyes on. So if you have a cat who is warm with strangers, some of that arrived with her. And if you have one who hides when the doorbell goes, some of that arrived with her too, and it is not a verdict on you as an owner. Quick thing before the next one. Tell me in the comments what color your cat is and whether she matches the stereotype I read everyone. Because the next one is the only place color genuinely predicts something, and it is not personality. Thing 3. What color actually predicts? Color does carry one real piece of information about your cat, and it is not her character. It is her sex. The gene for orange sits on the X chromosome, which is why most orange cats are male, and why tortoiseshell and calico cats are almost always female. That is genetics, and it is solid. Now look at what people do with it. When somebody tells you orange cats are big, soft, goofy lads, a good part of what they are describing is simply males. When somebody tells you torties have attitude, a good part of what they are describing is females. The color is a label sitting on top of something else, and everybody has been crediting the label. And I want to be honest about the rest of it. Most of what you will read about color and temperament comes from surveys where owners were asked to describe their own cat, not measured, not observed by anybody neutral, just owners describing a cat they had already judged. That is not nothing, but it is a long way from proof, and it is exactly the kind of study where a stereotype walks in one end and comes out the other, looking like a finding. So use color to guess her sex. Do not use it to guess her. Thing 4, the cat you cannot read. Here's the one I promised you. Some cats get called mysterious, aloof, hard to read, and it lands on black cats far more than any other color. The usual explanation is folklore, and that is part of it. But something much more ordinary is going on. You read your cat mostly from her face. The small stuff, the tightening around the eyes, the shift at the corner of the mouth, the exact angle of the whiskers. All of that is contrast. Light and shadow falling across a face, telling you where the edges are. On a black cat, there is almost no contrast to work with. Same signals, same cat, same amount of feeling behind it. You are just trying to read it in the dark. She is not being mysterious with you. And if you live with a black cat and have quietly wondered why you do not read her the way friends read theirs or whether she is less attached to you, hear this properly. You are not failing at anything. You are doing the same job with less light. I spent a long time thinking one cat simply did not like me, and I was wrong for a reason as stupid as lighting. So read her somewhere else because she is still saying all of it. Her ears are the loudest thing on her because they move against the outline of her head rather than against her face. Watch the base of her tail, not the tip, because that is where tension shows first. Watch whether her whiskers are pushed forward toward you or pulled flat back against her cheeks. Dennis Turner, who spent a career studying how cats and people actually get along, kept finding the same thing. It is built out of small exchanges, repeated, both sides reading each other. Your black cat has been holding up her half of that the entire time. You just needed somewhere better to look. The honest truth. The bit nobody puts in the video. None of this means color is meaningless or that you are silly for noticing patterns. People who work in shelters and see thousands of cats do notice things, and some of it may turn out to be real. But right now, the strong evidence sits with the boring stuff. Early handling, who her parents were, and how she has been treated since she arrived with you. The interesting thing is what happens once you have decided what a cat is. Decide she is a friendly orange lad, and you approach her more, talk to her more, reach for her more, and she gets more practice at people. Decide she is a moody tortie and you give her space, and she gets less. Either way, a few months later, you have proof. And the proof is partly your own doing, which is genuinely good news because it is the one part of this you still hold. So the next time somebody tells you what your cat must be like because of her color, you will know what they are reading. They are reading the one thing about her that was visible from across a room. You have the rest of it. The 7 weeks, the father, the years since, and every small exchange in between. She was never a color. She was a history. And most of that history is yours now. Tell me in the comments whether your cat matches her stereotype or has spent her whole life ignoring it. If this made you look at your own cat differently, helps it reach the next owner who was told what their cat is before they found out. And if you would rather understand your cat than guess at her, that is the entire reason this channel exists. I'll see you in the next one.